So
I can hear
welcome
you
to the
perfect.
perfect. Welcome to the Face Behind the Brand. I am your host, Monique Marie, and you are the lovely, sensational singer-songwriter, Heather Harvin.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me. Yay.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm just so ecstatic. Your music has given me a lot of inspiration. I have put up my Christmas tree today. I have done I have done so much today. So bless you, bless your heart, bless your music, your sound. So tell us, we are both on the West Coast, but for folks that are on the East Coast, that are on the Central, Midwest, tell us who Heather Harvin is.
Yes. Okay. So my name is Heather Harvin, like she said. Hello, everybody. Hey, everyone out there. So I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. So I'm from the East Coast, but I've been in LA for the last 11 years. It's home.
Wow.
This is definitely home. And yes, I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a performer as well. And I just came out with my Christmas EP called Trap Christmas 2020. So please check it out. Whoop, whoop. Yes, that is Heather Harvin. Thank you.
So EP Trap Christmas 2020. You have some amazing tracks on this EP. Christmas on its way. We came in with that on. No New. Very, very nice vibe. Okay.
Yes.
Very lovely. Talk to me about No New, the process.
Yes. Okay. So No New, actually, it's my favorite song on the whole EP. You know, I feel like 2020 has been a crazy year. And so I was like, what can we do to write a song that represents a new year? Because please believe I'm ready for 2021 but also that can kind of, I don't know, maybe just give 2020, a great little outro. And so that's where we came up with the concept for No New. It's actually my first kind of New Year's Eve, New Year's song. And it's just about me and someone, no one in particular, but just when you meet someone in the midst of a pandemic and that person changes your life, it's like, I don't want this to end. I don't want something new. Like, let's stay in this moment. So that's No New. Yeah.
Well, No New is beautiful. I think it's lovely. Your voice is amazing. I think it's funny hitting on, of course, 2020, because yes, there has been a lot that has transpired. I think a lot of tests have happened. Yes, a lot of loss has occurred. Human-wise, people have lost their lives, and we have witnessed it and are impacted by it. But yes, at the same time, there has been a lot of beautiful things. I wouldn't trade this year for nothing. I don't think you've probably, even in your middle of the pandemic, you have come underneath a rock and released not one EP, but 2 EPs. So talk to me about Back and Forth.
Yes. Okay. So Back and Forth, actually, that's probably the longest project that I've had to do. That is based off of true stories. And it's like literally like the title, Back and Forth, the constant back and forth of love, you meet a guy, you get in the honeymoon stage, and then everything's perfect, and then next thing you know, it just does a complete 180. But then it's like, should I leave him? Should I stay? I'm gonna leave him. No, but I love him. You know what I mean? The constant. And we as women, we do that because we're like, we'll give you another chance. But then one chance turns into 10, and you know what I mean? And finally you get fed up, and then you go whole Beyonce Lemonade, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna smash the tires. Because you get mad. Right. Okay. But yes, that Back and Forth, I mean, it was written to just relate to all women, because we all have, even if it's 1 or 2 relationships where it's like, I should have left a long time ago, but I didn't. And and so just the battle, the struggle.
Yes. Well, you are definitely a storyteller. The visual on this Back and Forth really blew my mind. You did a visual EP, which is usually very, very tough to do. And again, in the middle of a pandemic. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. We filmed all of that in 2 days.
Are you serious?
It was, oh my gosh, it was crazy. And it happened right before the whole world shut down. So.
You laughing? That is very impressive, Heather. Oh my God. That's the whole EP. We're talking 6 tracks, and you did a visual song. Like, I mean, queen, like real talk. That's incredible. And it was quality. Like everything, every single visual, every single vid was just amazing to me. And I was just engaged.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. So Christmas is your favorite holiday, I take it?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Well, I know you're a Capricorn. So is it this month or next month, your birthday?
Next month, January 9th. Mm-hmm. Yes.
I remember. Mm-hmm. So I like to circle back because, you know, you have an amazing discography. So I kind of like to see where you evolved from. So I definitely go back in time, and I went all the way back. So I'm going to start with 2014. Okay. You collaborated. Yes. You collaborated with, and let me make sure I'm saying this right. Is it Ayana Hey?
Yes.
Yes. And it was both yourself and Raquel Jete. Am I saying that?
Okay. Yes.
Beautiful song, Someday at Christmas. So talk to me about the experience.
Okay. Wow, that is taking it back. I forgot about that.
Yes.
You did, girl. Okay, I see you. Okay. Yeah. We're having an investigator over here. Okay. Wow. Okay. So when I moved to LA, obviously I went to school. And so while I was in college, I was in a super group, and we did performances all over LA. We tried to get a good deal with Capitol Records, and, you know, life happens. And so when you're in a group, you know, you break up. But in that show, we had a live holiday show, and one of the songs that we sang was Someday at Christmas. And so the director of the group was like, well, you know, what if you three just kind of do your own thing, you know, do the recording studio, kind of bring the magic live, but bring it through the recording, through the studio. And it was so fun. I actually haven't talked to them in probably like 2 years, but I mean, just to be able, we literally do it. Yeah. We would perform together every night. I mean, it was like we were on a Broadway show. We did 8 shows, and it was just like, I missed that. Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful song. But again, you know, that's the whole point of doing these types of interviews, because it's who you are, you know, it's what has developed you. And that's what I wanted to know more of. Like, how would you say you've evolved since 2014? Because I can say, based on just what I'm hearing, you know, but it all molded you, right, into where you are today. So 2014, 2016, 2020. So how would you say your music has grown?
Oh, I mean, it's grown immensely, you know. I mean, even for a long time, I didn't even want to be a solo artist. I thought that I was meant to either be on Broadway or be in a group setting. And so from 2014 to 2020, now I'm the complete opposite, where I'm like, I don't want to share the stage with anyone. You know, I want to be able to do this on my own, and I want to stand on my own 2 feet. I feel like life has definitely helped shape, you know, the music and my content is probably more mature, more meaningful. So I think I mean, I've definitely evolved, I would say, in life experiences, but just I'm focused, and I can say that I can articulate who I am, what I want. You know, I'm more I would just say more confident in who I am now. Yeah.
Well, you had also another song that really touched me from 2018, again circling back, Child of Bethlehem.
Oh,
very pretty, very angelic voice. I just literally, a girl, I'm serious. Like, I got up and put my tree up. Like, my significant, you know, Christmas tree acknowledgement should be like what am I doing? But literally, you know, besides, of course, my mom has been telling me, like, well, you ain't gonna put your tree, when you put your tree, you know, so I'm just like, okay. It's perfect time, this energetic voice. Child of Bethlehem still, I think, is very timeless, a very timeless sound. Absolutely. So I understand your mother placed you in a vocal training program. You know, so you have a background in classical operatic training. Talk to us about that.
Yes. So oh my gosh, at a young age, I was constantly singing. And so my mom was like, oh, she's serious about this. So she felt, and I'm grateful, she felt that I needed training right away. So at a very age, I had different voice teachers, but it really wasn't until I got in high school, I went to Baltimore School for the Arts, where the main technique and the main focus is classical music. And so my voice teacher, her name was Loretta Young. She actually just passed away. May she rest. Yes. Yeah, oh my gosh, that woman. But she was probably one of the first few, Black popular, operatic females, in that realm, classical artists. And so she made it very clear to really train me and go hard in the classical realm because there wasn't a lot of us, representation. And so, I mean, that's where you get the technique from. That's where you get a lot of just, the theory behind music. And
Absolutely.
as now at, a couple years later, I have a new voice teacher. So when I went to college, I switched teachers. And so I actually still see her. I've had her now for 11 years. She's amazing. And she's very clear. She's like, Heather, if you want to do R&B and you want to do, your soul music, popular music, that's fine. But you always need to make sure that you have, your classical music. Like you have to have that. Never lose that. And,
it's big.
It's a work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because my vocal coach too. That's actually what he is. That's all he talks about. Like we need to stay in your head voice, stay falsetto, and how important that is because of course it's a range, right? It's like it's that not a lot of African American women.
No,
they don't use it. Like they stay in this comfortable alto, space,
right?
Where you have this gift to go super high and nobody knows about it because you just want to stay comfortable and stay, commercial. So that's a beautiful, beautiful gift you have. So talk to me about transitioning to LA. So you've been there now for what, 12, 13 years?
It'll be 12 years actually in a couple months.
Yeah. So 12 years. So talk to me about the first 7 years in LA, the transition.
Ooh, the first 7. Okay. So the first year was definitely a culture shock.
Yeah.
Baltimore and LA, very different, extremely different. I moved out here and I was like, what is this? Where I come from, people hustle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to constantly work at being better than the day before. And so when I got here, I noticed that people were a little lax, I want to say, in LA. You know what I mean? Just comfortable. And so it was just very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. So the first 7 years, I have to say, it was an adjustment, and then even though I went to college, it really wasn't until maybe 2 years after I graduated college where I finally said, okay, this is home, which was probably like the seventh going into the 8th year. And part of that too was because I found a church home that I felt comfortable with, I just kind of felt like every area of my life was starting to get some stability.
Yes.
A while. It took a long time. It was hard.
Well, I like that you definitely, speaking of, your inner peace, you refer to scripture a lot. And, a lot of folks like to put denomination on things and titles on things. And I picked up right away the relationship, I should say, that you have. It's evident, in your music and in your presence. So talk to me about owning and applying scripture to your business, to your life, to your music.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think for us artists, the industry is so dark. It's, I know you've seen things, and so, even, a couple of years ago, I was presented with a possible deal, but I had to turn it down because it would go against my convictions, you know what I mean? Which were based off of the scriptures. The scriptures talk about, when, you need to be holy, and holy means to be set apart, but then the scriptures also talk about how you need to be all things to all men to win just a few, win some over. And so it's finding that balance of, okay, is this a time for me to really be set apart, to really, be like, no, these are my convictions? Or is this a time where I can kind of meet people where they're at, you know what I mean? Just to kind of win them over and to show like, you can still be a Christian and make it in this industry.
Absolutely.
So it's an everyday process. Every day I read my Bible. I have spiritual mentors that check in with me for accountability, that ask me like, hey, how's this going? One of my mentors actually, she's very successful in the industry, has 2 talk shows, CBS, Hallmark, you know, and so, yeah, and she talks about how, you know, she had to, one time she held up filming because she was like, I'm not saying this on national television.
Right.
Just having mentors like that understand the struggle, but also can also give me perspective and be like, you know what, Heather, like, this is a good opportunity. You know what, maybe you should go and do something like this or say something like this, like talk about these things. So I would say like the accountability, definitely it helps shape what I talk about in my music, what I do in my life. I've also started a virtual summit for women of faith, to kind of, for professionals, for a time for us to get together and talk about the struggles of being in the industry and how we can just spur one another on. Like, hey, you don't give up. You know, this happened to me too. This is what I did. And we meet every month, and it's grown. And I'm super. It's fulfilling to see women, how they get just the reassurance and just the peace and the comfort from other women. Like, okay, you know what, God is calling me to do this, so we're gonna do it. Yeah, that's faith.
Would give us the gift, right? He wouldn't bless you with the gift. And you know, I was talking to my mother about this. Like, we know the story. We know who Satan was. You know what I'm saying? He had amazing power. He had a musician. You know? But it's just the whole point. I think it all comes to play of being the light in a dark place. You know, I think if we stay away from light or stay away from dark, we can't be, you know, light to light. We have to be light. You know what I'm saying? Yes, so I think it's definitely encouraging to see what you're doing. So talk to me about, you know, we talked about pandemic, right? So we're in the middle of 2020, and I always discuss this with every person I interview, because there's one thing going on where we know about this COVID, this virus, this disease, and then we know about the other pandemic, which has been here for over 400 years, and it's racism. So talk to me about your mental health and how you have been able to maintain a steadfast spirit throughout this year of 2020.
Wow, so glad you brought that up. So I can say, you know, 2020, actually, ironically, it has probably been the hardest year for my mental health and my emotional health, because of this. I mean, we've been through it, like you said, 400 plus years, but it's really starting to become more mainstream now. You know what I mean? And it's blasted everywhere now. And I just remember May, you know what I mean? All of the protests and then George Floyd and everything happening. I just remember just crying. Literally crying and looking to God, just like, you know, I don't know what you're doing, but I don't know if I can, you know, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I can do this. And I will say the pandemic has not, being in the house, being quarantined for how many months now, it definitely takes a toll on your mental health. And I will say, you know, the only thing that has kept me stable and has kept me just really fluid, fellowship. You know what I mean? Being more creative. Like I said, I started one business. I'm in the process of starting another business, just constantly, you know, doing something, talking to people, meeting with my mentors, you know, connecting with you. The other day when we had our conversation, I mean, that helped me so much. Just to know, I mean, the fellowship, whether it's 10 minutes or it's, you know, 2 hours, but it goes a long way for me. I've been, my friend, we've now been praying every night for 4 months.
Wow. That's amazing.
I need it. I can't, because
we all need it.
Girl, talking about I would.
I think, well, because, you know, not enough people talk about the mental health. And I remember a gentleman on, like, when I first started doing the interviews, because it was like you said, being at home. So I'm like, what else am I going to do besides my normal job? And I felt like, you know, start talking to people, but not just interviewing about music, talking about what's happening. Life, you know, is happening, and dig deeper. And so that was the first topic. I was noticing a gentleman by the name of Adrian Howdeggy. He's also an artist from the Bay Area. And he was just like, mental health, you know, let's talk about it. Because no one talks about it. You know, and it's just like, I think you're crazy not to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, people think, I don't title that's crazy, but it's like, you're crazy to not mention it, because mental health doesn't.
It's a real thing.
It's a very big thing. So yeah, the steadfast spirit, the prayer, and the fellowshipping. You know, it's not always about, you know, 150 or 250 people in a church. We're fellowshipping right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate you, you know.
I appreciate you too, girl.
A lot. A lot. So talk to me about how long does it take you on an average, because everybody's different, to write a song?
On average, I
Yeah,
would say, on average, let's see. I would say on average 2 days.
really? Okay. Yeah.
I'm a slow processor. That's it's a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say 2 days.
But you're taking your time, you know, and I think that's what I like about the independent part of it, the creative control. You're not on a timeline, you know.
No,
So I think that,
it's
yeah.
you know, say it's crazy. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, that's interesting because I take my time with so much. I do not rush a thing. My
And,
mom constantly
yeah.
gets on me. She's like, you're gonna be single forever because you just take your time. I don't know. Like I've always been like that. I just can't jump right away. I'm a slow cooker. And my friends get on me.
Yeah.
They're like, don't be a slow cooker, be an instant pot. But I can't. That's just not, I have to feel it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So pause it. Look at your music just came on. Did you see that?
Oh,
I was like, I hear it. I heard it. It was like creeping up. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, I mean, 'cause I don't think there's a timing on anything, and I definitely want you to talk a little bit more about that too, the generation that's coming up behind you, because so many of the generation, the next generation, that's all they've kind of, most of them, I shouldn't say all, but you know, they want to focus on getting signed first and foremost, and they want to focus on getting signed. Then they want to get signed, you know. So I think it's crucial to talk about the creative control process, and it's not, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting signed if the money, if the dollars make sense. But your visuals, again, going back and forth, is a true testament to what independence looks like, to what creative control looks like. So talk to the generation.
In my opinion, this is just my opinion. And I think you hit it on the nail. You know, there are some circumstances, situations where a deal will work. You know what I mean? A record deal with out before you, it will work for you. For me, right now in this moment, it doesn't work because, like you said, I want that creative control. So to my fellow artists that are up and coming, that may be a little younger, I would say you really need to weigh out the pros and cons of either option. You know, see what first works for you as a person, then see what works first for you as an artist. You know, and then pros and cons. Whichever one has more pros, go that route. Whichever one has, you know what I mean? But it really comes down to, because technically, even though you're an artist, you still have to represent who you are as a person in some shape, you know, way, shape, form. I think of, you know, Lady Gaga, for instance. When she first came out, you know what I mean? She had the wigs, she was crazy, you know what I mean? She was wild, you know, but now, like throughout the years, she started to bring more and more of herself into her artistry. Right.
And we love her still. We love her even more.
Absolutely. I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan, in so many ways. And so I would just say, you know, like if you, like we talked about for mental health, like if your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, you know what I mean, your well-being, if you can bite the bullet and sacrifice, quote unquote, you know, for a year or two, then okay, you know what I mean? But if it doesn't work for you and your spirit and your soul, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, don't sell your soul. I see some amazing artists that have actually, or that have tapped in with us tonight. I see you, E-Rain, Future of New York, and I see Contraband Beats just came on. You got some producers and some another hip hop artist. So talk to me. You know, the perception of what, you know, because again, going back to the church, because you're doing, one of your songs is hip hop, right? But hip hop, so there's no cursing, you know what I'm saying, and there's nothing bad. It's very, very classy, and it still is hot. So talk to me about some of the perception of the folks, of course, in the church. I mean, what are they saying? Is it good stuff? Talk to us about that.
That's funny. I personally haven't heard any bad
Good.
feedback
Yeah.
anyone in the church. But ironically, maybe about 2 weeks ago, we had this conversation right before like a small group of us from church about like trap music, hip hop, church.
Yeah.
And so, because somebody in the fellowship was like, oh, I don't even know what trap music is, where it comes from. And so then someone else is like, oh, let me Google it, Wikipedia. Now, obviously, I can't trust everything on Wikipedia. Yeah. But when they defined what it was, it got quiet, and everybody was just, Marisha's laughing because, hey, Marisha girl, because Marisha was there. And we both were just like, okay. And I'm like, here we go. I'm going to have to just explain, why it is that I choose to do quote unquote trap music, Christianity. But you know what? No one said anything bad. They thought it was funny. But I will say I have heard of situations where hip hop artists that are Christian, catch a lot of flack. I mean, even if you trace back to, and this is one of my favorite albums, Kirk Franklin, when he did the New Nation album, do you want a revolution? Woo, woo. He caught a lot of persecution from that. A lot of persecution, because why? They're like, who is this gospel artist trying to bring hip hop into something so sanctified and holy? Who doesn't like a good beat, And music is a universal language. So if we're trying to be universal in how we reach people, then we need to, yet again, be all things to all men. You can add a nice beat on something so positive about God. It might attract their attention. You know what I mean? It might open their eyes to something.
Yeah, because we talk about being light in a dark place. There's not, and the thing is, I think for one, hip hop is not dark. You know what I'm saying? I mean, unless someone is like literally talking about taking somebody out and sharing names and doing all these other things, it's never a bad thing. I'm, like I told you, I'm from Oakland, California. I'm born in all day. Like I want to sing over hip hop beats. That's just me, But yeah, I definitely, again, agree, because even with the Kirk Franklin situation, I think that was like one of the #1 songs.
It was. I still listen to it. It's such a good album. And what's crazy? And from that album, now we have artists like Lecrae, Wanda, you know what I mean? All of these gospel, artists, hip hop artists, rappers.
Yeah, yeah. And Corinne Hawthorne is not rap, but she just did a great song cover of, what is it called? Joy.
I like her.
I like her. Oh my God. I was listening to that today. I was like, this girl is amazing. So yeah, and it's so positive and so powerful. You know what I'm saying? So a new generation. It's a whole new generation. So talk to me about some of the risk, though, of being a musician, just being in the music industry, period. Some things that you've had to sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a gamble. It's a total risk at times. Like I said, I've been presented with different deals, production deals, possible like record deals, different things. But I have to turn them down because when you read the fine print, like I said, some of them you do sell your soul or you sell your brand. You know what I mean? You don't have a voice, and I do. Voice. And so, I mean, it's always a risk with anything that you do. Even on the opposite side, you have a risk of when you put something out for the public, for persecution, for bullying. I mean, there's just being a musician and being an artist, or a creative, I should say. Anything creative that you put out there for the public, you're putting it out there, and who knows, the response, but we don't do it necessarily to get a good response. We do it because we love it.
Yes, we do it because we love it. Yeah, because I really don't care. I mean, I don't even care. Like, I mean, they're going to say what they're going to say. People are always going to talk, right? I listen to V a lot, and he talks about being like literally persecuted the first 20 years of his life, by so many people that just kept saying, you're no good, you're, all these naysayers, so it's like, he was like, now that he's in his 40s, he's like, I'm so used to adversity, I don't even respond, people. So what's the best advice you've been given thus far? Whether it be music, personal, what's the best advice you have been given?
Oh, right away I thought of something. So my old pastor, about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He too is a creative. And so I'm actually a part of a ministry where we focus on, you know, creatives and industry based. Everyone's in the industry, trying, like you say, be a light in a dark world, right? And
Yeah.
so the advice that he gave me, because I was hesitant. I'm like, should I take this deal? Should I not take this deal? It's not that it's bad, but you know what I mean? But, you know, what will people say? And he said, Heather, he was like, just always remember this. He said, what you need to do is always pray for God. Well, first he said, what you need to do is knock on every door. So if you have an opportunity, you know, if it, you know, see if it's for you, right? He was like, but how you'll know it's for you is because you need to pray. You know what, God, open the righteous door for me.
Yeah.
Not only the right door, but the righteous door. Whatever is to allow you to walk through where not only, you know what I mean, you're representing God, but it's also going to benefit your career as well. And that has stood out to me. It stuck with me for now 8 years. You know, knock on for God to open the righteous door.
Yes, I like that. Look and close the wrong doors, okay? Because
exactly right. Yeah, okay. Close it all the way.
Yeah, because a lot of times I think it's hard for us to close doors, especially when they're personal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Could be personal, relatives. You know, it's tough. So going back to 2020 pandemic, you know, that is what has been really happening. You know, in my mind, like, how do I close these doors? You know what I'm saying? And yes, and I like that. I'm gonna start using that. Open righteous doors. I love that. I see you, Val. There's another wonderful, beautiful, empowering woman coming in. Okay, because you are very empowering. I wanted to say that to you too. I mean, it's not often that you can say, you know, that you are a true, genuine woman, a sister, a queen that empowers other women, and you're doing that through your music. So talk to me about the importance of love. Is it important to love, or is it important to be loved? Give love or be loved? What's more important?
I would say there's in Ecclesiastes, it talks about there's a time for
okay.
I believe there's a time to give love, and then there's a time to receive love. But I will say for me, I think what has been most beneficial has been me giving love.
Yes.
I think because it requires me to really just develop a pure heart for people, to really, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for me and giving my whole heart to people, I wouldn't be so adamant about women empowerment. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be so adamant about Black Lives Matter. I wouldn't be so adamant about God, and you know what I mean? So I would say it's just, even though there are times where you're just like, oh, I give so much, I just need to receive a little bit. But giving. I would say there's so much strength in giving love. Unconditional love at that.
Yeah.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's stay on the love topic then. Okay. So is it important to do what you love, or to love what you do?
I've been in both situations.
Yeah.
I would say it is important, because I have loved I had a job once where I was like, oh, I love what I do, but it wasn't what I like. I wasn't doing what I loved.
Yeah.
And I can say when I am doing what I love, oh my gosh, you just feel so complete.
Yeah.
You know, you feel whole. I feel like I'm actually doing something with my life. So I'm going to say, for me, it's most important to do what I love.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, I share this story a little bit with some folks, and some folks don't know, but a couple of years ago, my grandmother passed away, my mother's mother. And one of the things she said to me, it's crazy, because it was like she knew, you know, that she was about to go. And the night before, she had literally suffered a massive stroke. She asked me a question, and she said, she knew what my dreams were. She knows, you know, she said, is it worth it? She just looked at me and said, is it worth it? And I'm like, you know, is this a trick question? Right? I mean, really, it was so interesting. And I want to ask you the same question. And my answer, of course, was yes. You know, yes, Grandma, it's worth it. You know, everything that I go through and that I'm struggling and what I'm dealing with and the adversity, it's definitely worth it. My gift comes from my grandmother. you know, so it's most definitely worth it. And the next day, you know, that was the last time she was her regular self, but it was like she was asking because she knew she was going somewhere.
Yeah.
Ask you, is the reward, is it worth the risk?
Absolutely. You hit it on the nail. It is worth it. And then some. I wouldn't trade all that I've been through, the process, who I am, all of my friends, you know what I mean? Just the experiences that I've been through. I wouldn't trade it. And it is absolutely worth it. And there are times in the moment where I'm like, why am I doing this for real?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
At the end, when I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so worth it. Absolutely worth
it. Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely. Like I start getting emotional listening.
I started tearing up. I'm like, oh my God, girl, my eyes are burning from these eyelashes, girl, and the glue, crying, girl. Woo.
I just, I thought about that today because like I said, I was so touched and moved by your music and your sound and everything. And I just felt like I want to ask her this same question. So
it's all worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. It's nice to hear someone else to agree, because there's been times, of course, I know you, of course, like you said, you want to give up, and
ooh, girl.
Yeah. So definitely, it's worth it. Thank you for sharing that. What is one of your greatest challenges, Heather Harvin?
People. No, I'm joking.
Ooh.
Ooh.
True. Look, facts. Look, all
True.
facts.
Well, yeah. My greatest challenge. You know what? I would say I'm my greatest challenge.
Really? Elaborate. My goodness.
So kind of like, I know, and Marisha's laughing at me because hi Marisha again. But I would say I'm my greatest challenge because I told you I'm a slow processor. I am a very slow cooker. I joke and I'm like, I'm going to be single forever, but I would say I'm my greatest challenge because sometimes I get in my own way. A lot of the times I get in my own way. True. And it's even true, like even when I'm writing a song, it'll take me 2 days because I'm like, oh, maybe, I shouldn't say like this or no, you know what I mean? I overthink. Thank you, Marisha. # slow cooker indeed. Thanks, girl. Put me all the way out there for the grade. But I can just I doubt myself. I wrestle with insecurity. I do, just to be very honest. I wrestle with insecurity. And so if I feel insecure about something, I get in my own way. And it makes life challenging for me. Yeah. I make life challenging for me, just to be very honest.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to pray about that. Like, ask God to move us out the way, move me out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we all are guilty of it, and he knows that we're human, but yeah, I think it's true. I'm saying it to you. Not that it's true that you're in your own way, but
no, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. I receive it. I receive it.
Hey, Heather Harvin. I can't believe I just said that. I'm like, yes, you are in your own way. I'm going to say 3 words, and I want to know what first comes to mind when I mention these 3 words.
Okay.
Manifestation, motivation, monetization.
Okay. Manifestation. First thing that came to mind. Okay. Okay. Manifestation. If you, don't just talk about it. Well, actually do it. Don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Manifestation, really be about your purpose. Don't just say you're going to do what you need to do. Hustle hard. That's just the first thing of manifestation. Bring it to life, but it comes to life through action. Motivation, right? That was the second one.
Motivation.
As religious as this may sound, motivation, first thing I think about is just Jesus dying on that cross for us.
Oof.
To keep going, to not stop, to literally just keep going, even when it gets hard. Motivation. He died, shed his blood, keep going. You can't. He didn't sacrifice himself just for you to stop. Keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Monetization.
Monetization.
Yep. Work smarter, not harder.
Mm. I love that.
Time
Yes.
is money. Like we
Yes.
beat time. Like I be trying to tell people, like we need to, okay, we need to
Yeah.
get it together. We need to be efficient. You know what I mean? Like have your ducks in a row. Like
Mm.
just yes.
Yeah. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So as an artist, of course, and I'll go pre-COVID, if you went to a concert yourself, what is it that you look for in another artist? What are you listening for? What are you looking for? What are you watching when you attend another concert or, a show?
Ooh, okay. So actually last year, I actually ooh, 2019. So I went to two concerts last year. I went to the Millennium, the B2K reunion tour and all of that. And then I went to see Chris Brown.
Wow. Wow. I've never seen
See
him.
Chris Brown. Now, mind you, I've seen Chris Brown at least 3 times in concert live. And what
Wow.
I love about Chris Brown is he gives me what I'm looking for. It's the whole package from start to finish, like a Beyonce concert.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like both of them and Bruno Mars as well. So many people, Lady Gaga, I can go on and on, but
Mm-hmm.
the artistry and the performance sometimes is stronger than the spectacles that's behind them. You know what I mean? Like it's great to have different lights and everything and cool. Okay, you have a little effect, but the artistry and the performance needs to be stronger than that. And I can say like I've definitely gotten that with Chris Brown to the point where, homie is holding the microphone, singing live and dancing, and
Yeah.
he's dancing his background dancers while he's singing. Like that to me, showmanship. Like
Yeah.
it draws
Yes.
me in. My friends were laughing at me because the whole time I was just staring at him like this, like just
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Showmanship. I like that. Yeah. You there? We froze a little bit. You still
yes,
there? Okay.
yes.
So if you could change anything about the music industry, so speaking of, these artists and these amazing, these big labels and things like that, if you could
Mm-hmm.
change one thing, I know there's a lot, it's a very interesting industry. What would it be?
If I could change one thing,
One thing. You only get to change one thing.
thing.
What would it
I
be?
thought of something, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
Ah! If I could take, you know what? I would say, I would say, I would say overproduced sound. What I mean by
Mm,
that is, I feel like, and I can be guilty of this too. There are times where I'm like, well, I like me a good auto tune,
yeah.
I'm here for
Yeah.
it. But I
Hmm.
think what is missing is just the soul, the rawness in, you know what I mean? And Motown is, I use that constantly, even with gospel music, Mahalia Jackson,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's just the power behind the voice. It didn't require all of this like auto tune
Yeah.
or you know what I mean, like just the mixing or you know. I would change, and I know that's popular. Like I said, I'm guilty of it too because I use it on my own tracks. But
Yeah.
every now and then, it would be good to just have, just
Nat-
just
yeah.
not, don't overproduce it.
Mhm.
I want to hear your voice. I want to hear
Yes.
your art, like in its rawness. I don't want to hear. Okay, she said the reverb. Okay, because I love me a reverb. I'm the first one to be like, put that reverb on.
Oh, I like a little
You know,
reverb, echo, and I love
but
that, but not too much. Yeah.
yeah, I would just say it's just something. I would change that for yeah. Just
Hmm.
bring back the heart and soul behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like. So going into, of course, these amazing visuals, and I'm going to always keep going back and forth because I'm still floored. An
Thank
entire
you.
key of visuals, six
Ooh,
track, six visuals, just
ooh.
impressive work. How would you say the internet has impacted, the music industry today and what is available to us and what we're seeing?
I mean, that's all now. It's like that's all you need to do. I mean, with COVID, definitely, this is the
Yeah.
internet. I
With that.
think, yeah, it's I mean, the internet, like I said, it's a gift and a curse. It can
Yeah.
impact something immensely, and it can also tear something apart in someone's career within minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have a friend where she's a rapper, and she was like, oh, I'm just gonna, put something, a freestyle on YouTube, and woke up the next morning and it went viral.
Mm.
Okay, internet, you know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
she's very successful and she's doing her thing. I
Mm-hmm.
know other situations where someone puts something on the internet and they get turned into memes and gifts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like they just, it's just, yeah, it's a definitely a gift and a curse. I think you just have to really know how to work it to your advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm very, very big on energy, and I've talked to you about that. And I think I
Mm-hmm.
picked that when we first talked. And talk to me about working synergistically with people in general, because you talked about people and feeling their
I get
vibe and making sure,
it.
because of course, you're working with, as you saw, even in the visuals, like, picking certain people, picking energy for these
Mm-hmm.
videos. I mean, this is your baby. So you want the right
Okay.
people around your baby, right? So
Yes.
talk to me, choose and create and select the right people.
Oh my gosh. So a lot of people that I work with, we've been friends for a long time. Like I said, I just like how you picked up on my energy. I just pick up on someone else's energy.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to work with someone that is short-tempered or, moody, you know what I mean? Pessimistic. I refuse. I won't. I would rather work by myself,
Yeah,
than to have a group of people that, yeah, I am very sensitive to energies and attitudes and energies. And so yes,
yeah,
very, very selective, extremely. And
yeah,
I pray. I have to pray, like, God, is this person right for my team?
yeah,
I need to get clear because yeah. Mm-mm.
yeah, yeah. And I think, I think something, just a quote just came to my mind actually from Irain, when I literally first connected with him. That was a lot of what I was talking about. I was like, I don't want our conversations to be
Mm-hmm.
about crazy people and adversity, because that's what a lot of, like, that's all I was feeling and seeing.
Right.
Like, why are they acting crazy? I'm just doing what I do. But the other big thing that comes to mind with what you just said is what he said is the right people will find you. The
Yes.
right will find you. And I think that resonates with me still to today. Like, I agree. I refuse to work with horrible people. I don't care how high up they are, you know,
Okay.
uh, how connected they are. I know some very,
Mm-hmm.
very connected people. But yeah, I don't allow access anymore.
No.
And I feel great. I'm in a
Right.
great, I'm in a great space, Heather. So I think that the vibe of attracting who I've been attracting and interviewing, it's like the vibration is exactly that.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So yeah. So what's next for Heather Harvin that we don't know about
What?
that you could tell?
Well, what is next? So I
What's
mentioned earlier, I started a business earlier this year, and so
Yeah.
I'm actually in the works of starting a second business.
Okay.
And it has to do with nails. Yes.
Oh,
So
I
I'm a
love that.
nail. I'm okay. I was looking at your red nails because I'm like, I love your nails. I'm a huge nail junkie. Okay. I'm like the longer the better, the pointier the better. But
I love it.
I I was so, yeah, I mean, I was just praying and I'm like, God, like what? I want to do something. I need to be creative because
Yeah.
Los Angeles is getting shut down again, literally
Mm-hmm.
on Monday. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to just do something while we're shut down for however
Yeah.
long. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is it? I'm like, what can I do outside of music that
Yes.
will be satisfying creatively just as much? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I love nails. I love getting my nails done. Obviously, nail salons are getting closed. So I'm like, I won't be able to get my nails done. So what can I do to
What
supplement?
you gonna do? What can you do for
So
us?
I I am in the works. I know, and I haven't told a lot of people, but I'm in the works of creating my own press-on nail collection.
God, Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm sharing this with us because when we first went on COVID, March, I was wearing press-ons for like a month.
Okay. And you know what? They actually last. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm excited. I'm super excited. I know it's funny. I was staring at the whole time I've been staring at your nails because I'm like, oh, I like that shape. I like that color. I need to kind of replicate that.
And it's Ferrari red.
Okay, Ferrari red. Okay.
Ferrari red. Yeah. For a real red, like to match my ruby woo, because I love like that. So it's weird because it only comes to me. The last time I wore red was during the holiday, obviously, but I'm loving it. I love it. I see you, class. Another supporter coming in, girl. Another artist. We got a lot of artists supporting you tonight. International class joined us.
Okay.
Artist from the Bay, from SAC, from California. So another one of our West Coast folks. Yeah, you got some mad support on here tonight, girl. So, so when should we expect to have these nails? Is it going to be by December 31st? No.
Girl, I wish. It will be prayerfully, hopefully, the beginning of 2021. So I've been talking to manufacturers and just designers and this whole thing. So yeah, I mean, we shall see.
Yeah. Thank you, God, for 2020, because there's so many creative things occurring that would not have happened if you were still doing your, so busy. People their 9 to 5 can't stop. He stopped. A pause, like literally. We are in the middle of a shift. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not going to hold you too much longer, but I do want you to take us out and let us know where we can find Trap Christmas 2020. And all the platforms that you are on under Heather Harvin.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Trap Christmas 2020, is available now on all streaming platforms from Tidal to Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon Music. The list goes on. And you can find me, I'm primarily on Instagram at Heather Harvin. You can also find me on Twitter as well, Facebook as well, Heather Harvin. And yes, thank you so much.
Well, I thank you again. Continue to do what you're doing. Your energy is everything. I know God is definitely using you. I'm so glad that I discovered your sound, which is amazing. And I think you are an incredible queen.
Girl, I just want to say you are so beautiful inside and out. I feel like we've been girlfriends, friends for like ever. But thank you so much just for your platform. You know what I mean? All that you do. I know it's not easy, trying to
build.
Yes, trying to build something, but what you are building, it is out of this world. And it's definitely anointed. And I want to say thank you for this opportunity. I am beyond blessed. I am very grateful. I absolutely think the world of you. And I want to hear your music. Like that. That's what I need to plug. I need to plug now.
The other day tell me like he didn't even know. He's like, I didn't even know you were a singer. I'm like, oh my God, because I don't post. I hardly post. So sometimes I'll just throw myself in there a little bit. But I have been taught to pull myself to the back, because pulling myself to the back will bring me forward. So I definitely know how that works. But through true conversation here, I'm enjoying all the sounds in my ear. I hear so much music right now, Heather. I just go to bed like this, like it's crazy. So it's not getting about myself, but you know me to be. I am Monique Marie, so all of my music, you can my link. I'm not gonna talk about me, but it's link is in my bio. I'll say that.
Okay.
Link is in my bio. We will stay in touch, and I will send you some stuff too. Okay.
Yes, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yes, thank you, everybody. And I want to say, my cousin Joshua Tree Foundation said you are such a blessing.
Oh, thank you. Bless you, my brother. Bless you.
That's her. That's her business. Actually, she's from Oakland, and then she is a nonprofit organization for children.
Oh,
Joshua Tree.
I love that.
So if you see her across,
I love that.
Know that's my cousin Lynn, honeys. Okay.
Okay, cuz. Okay,
so Don't go out and without your mask, and just stay safe, please, and enjoy. What you're doing a lot for us, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Bless you. Thank you.
Peace.